Today on DesignHer Co, we're going to be creating this fabulous fashion accessory inspired by the one and only Carrie Bradshaw. In spite of the Carrie Diaries, we do want to remind you that Carrie Bradshaw is actually still cool. So for today's poof accessory inspired by the one and only Carrie Bradshaw, you're going to need some gauzy fabric in any solid colors or prints that you wish. You'll need a good pair of fabric scissors. You'll need some thread, preferably in a matching color to the fabrics that you're using. You'll need a needle for a hand sewing needle, and also one of these little foam bases that are used for millinery making, anywhere you'd find things for making fascinators. If you can't find those, you can also find an old bathing suit top and just pop out the padding, and that works just as fine. And you'll also need a little clip. So it could be a hair clip, it could be a little pin to wear as a brooch, or it can be on a hairband, whatever you want to attach it to. So the first step in making this project is cutting out all of your petals, which can be a little tedious. Find a good movie and get cutting. If you want it to be really full, like these poofs over here, you're going to need quite a few of them. So you want to fold your fabric into anywhere from 2 to 6 layers, depending on how good your fabric scissors are. And you're just going to go ahead and cut out little circles. The diameter is about 2 inches. And you just want to eyeball it. You don't want them to be perfect. So when they're all smushed together like that, you want to get some fun raw edges and different shapes. So once you've got a good pile of them, you can start putting the petals together, and then you can always add more if you find that it's not full enough for you. So the first step in making your petals is to take 2 of your petals and place one on top of the other. They don't need to match up. Find your center, and it'll look like this on the other side. Now take your threaded needle, and you just want to go through the base, that little peak where you pinched, and go through it a few times just to secure it so that when you let go it stays together. So I'm probably going through about 6-7 times. It doesn't have to look pretty on the bottom either, because that part's going to be hidden afterwards. And there's your petal. So the next thing that you want to do is repeat that process about 1 billion times. Watch Sex and the City 1 through 3 and maybe the whole series. So when you're starting to sew your petals onto your base, you want to make sure that you start with a fairly long piece of thread so that you don't have to keep rethreading your needle. The first step is to lock your thread in place. So you're just going to go through the top layer of the base. You don't want to poke it all the way through because you want this side to stay nice and clean. And just bring it through until you have a couple inches of thread, and go through that same spot a few times to lock the thread in place. So no knotting necessary. 1, 2, 3, and then you're ready to stitch them on. So I'm just going to cut off my little excess thread there. So take any one of your petals, thread the needle through the base of the petal, and affix it onto your millinery base. So in order to get the look of this poofy one, you're going to have to fill in the whole base. So just keep building on it until you're really happy with the outcome. So magically, after many episodes of Sex and the City, and hopefully not the Carrie Diaries, you've gotten to the point where you are ready to sew your clip on. So choose whether it's a comb, a regular hair clip, a hairband, it could be a belt or a brooch pin, and you just want to stitch it right onto the end of it, right here. I just used a little cross stitch, but anything that really secures it to the base is perfect. Subscribe to Coral if you love Sex and the City. Subscribe to Coral if you love the Carrie Diaries. Subscribe to Coral if you hate the Carrie Diaries. Subscribe to Coral if you've seen every Sex and the City movie a bazillion times and will continue watching them. And subscribe to Coral if you love poofy hair accessories.